Hello and welcome to Your Favourite Teacher. Today's video takes you through the theme of Christmas spirit in A Christmas Carol. Funnily enough, one of the biggest themes in the novel. Throughout the video, we will look at the following characters: Fred, Fezziwig, Ghost of Christmas Present, the Cratchit family, and Scrooge. Each character is part of a key scene in the novel which showcases Christmas spirit and gives an insight into what this time of year was like for the Victorians at the time. In Stave 1, we meet Scrooge's nephew Fred, who is portrayed to the reader as very festive and fun, in comparison to Scrooge, who doesn't see the point in Christmas. Fred gives a speech about why he values Christmas so much. He says, "I've always thought of Christmas time as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time." Here, Dickens reflects a typical view of Christmas from the eyes of the Victorian society. He uses the adjectives kind, forgiving, and charitable, which creates a calm, happy, and peaceful tone for the reader. The Christmas spirit can be seen through these character traits, rather than it being linked to anything commercial like present giving or parties, which makes Fred's character seem even nicer, as well as getting the reader to understand the true value of Christmas. Fred goes on to say, "Though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe that it has done me good and will do me good." Again, this highlights the Victorian era, where it was less about presents and more about charity, religion, and family. By using these words, Dickens emphasises that being charitable during the festive season makes you feel better and therefore spreads more Christmas cheer. It also acts as a dig to anyone who's like Scrooge, uncharitable and bitter. Bah humbug. By referencing money, Dickens highlights the importance of being a good person and how this ultimately is better than seeing Christmas as a time to gain from one another and be greedy. In Stave 2, Dickens uses Fezziwig as a way of exploring the commercial side of the festive season. Fezziwig puts on a huge Christmas party for his employees, which emphasises his kindness and generosity at Christmas time, echoed by Fred in Stave 1. Dickens describes the transformation of the warehouse from a place of work to a party like no other. The warehouse was as snug and warm and dry and bright as a ballroom as you would desire to see on a winter's night. Dickens' words create a heartfelt atmosphere for the reader and highlights the importance of getting together at Christmas time and enjoying spending time with one another. The warehouse is transformed into a ballroom, which we associate with luxury and extravagance, which suggests that Fezziwig has gone through a lot of effort for his employees to make sure they have a good time at his Christmas party. This contrasts to Scrooge as a boss, who wasn't happy about Bob Cratchit taking Christmas Day off in Stave 1. Scrooge's bitterness there emphasises Fezziwig's generosity, which in turn stresses the joy of Christmas for many characters in the novel. Fezziwig's speech in this scene also highlights his Christmas spirit. "No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Christmas," cried old Fezziwig. Again, Dickens' words show the reader how different Scrooge is to the others, as Fezziwig is happy for his employees to stop work early due to it being Christmas. The noun Christmas is repeated, which shows that people in Victorian times enjoyed the season, something many readers, both modern and contemporary, can relate to. Next, in Stave 3, Dickens gives a detailed description of the Ghost of Christmas Present and the Christmas feast he appears to be sat on. When Scrooge enters the room where the ghost is, it's described as hung with living green that it looked like the perfect grove. Bright, gleaming berries glistened, the crisp leaves of holly, mistletoe and ivy. We associate the colour green with nature and Christmas, so by using the adjective living in front of it, Dickens is bringing life to Christmas in a home where it is usually neglected. Dickens also lists holly, mistletoe and ivy, which are all plants typically associated with Christmas. He describes the berries as bright, gleaming and glistening, which further emphasises the Christmas spirit. It's as if Dickens is trying to exaggerate Christmas here, especially because Scrooge doesn't celebrate it, therefore highlighting how huge the Christmas season is to many others. bringing it to life for the reader. In the middle of the room, Dickens describes sits a jolly giant glorious to see. Again, the use of the giant has been used by Dickens deliberately to show how important the festive season is, and also to stress the point that there is no time like the present to make a change, especially for Scrooge, who is being given a second chance by the ghosts. Dickens also uses the adjective jolly and glorious to characterise the ghost and show his importance during the festive season. Also in Stave 3, the Ghost of Christmas Present takes Scrooge to see his employee Bob Cratchit and see how his family celebrate Christmas. When Scrooge is watching them interact, he sees the youngest children dance about the table in excitement because outside the bakers they had smelt goose and recognised the smell in their kitchen. This is important because Dickens is making a point that for many of the working and lower classes, Christmas would be the only time of year they would eat a feast like this because they wouldn't normally be able to afford it. The lower classes would likely save up for a long time to be able to afford the Christmas dinner, showing that Christmas spirit is about coming together as a family for a nice meal rather than the importance of opening a gazillion presents. This contrasts to the wealthier members of Victorian society, who would be used to regular roasts and present giving at Christmas time. We learn later on in the scene that it was a sufficient dinner for the Cratchits, which again shows that the family barely had enough to eat, even though it was Christmas Day. And therefore, Dickens is pointing out to the reader that the Christmas spirit is so much more about being kind and spending time with your family than it is about Christmas dinner and receiving presents. When Bob Cratchit returns with Tiny Tim from the church, he tells his family that Tiny Tim said, because he was a cripple, it might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see. Dickens is using Tiny Tim's character to show his readers that Christmas spirit comes from being grateful for what you have. Tiny Tim is crippled and the Ghost of Christmas Present mentions that he won't live another year to Scrooge. So the fact that he says this to everyone in church invites the reader to consider the true meaning of Christmas and how important it is to be kind, benevolent, and grateful for what you have in life. Finally, Christmas spirit can be seen in Scrooge's character in Stave 5 of the novel. After his evening of visits from Marley and the three ghosts, Scrooge wakes up a changed man, one who embodies the traits Fred mentions at the beginning of the novel. Upon realising he hasn't missed Christmas Day, Scrooge exclaims, "Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and the Christmas time to be praised for this!" This is the first time we see Scrooge give a positive remark about Christmas, highlighting that anyone has the capacity to change if they want to. The verb praised shows that Scrooge now sees the importance of Christmas and what a meaningful time of year it can be. Scrooge continues with, "A Merry Christmas to everybody, a Happy New Year to all the world," showing that he is grateful to be present in the moment with those around him. By using everybody and the world, Dickens is stressing that we should be kind and loving towards everyone, no matter what their situation or social class. When Bob returns to work on Boxing Day, Scrooge immediately rewards him, gaining great happiness from being so charitable. "A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavour to assist your struggling family." Here, Scrooge's kindness and generosity is an example for the readers to think of helping others who are in worse positions than themselves. This was one of Dickens' biggest messages to his readers, and something he was very interested in outside of his writing. By raising Bob's salary and helping his family, Scrooge shows the true Christmas spirit, which ultimately changes the fate Marley showed him in Stave 1. Dickens has shown the reader the meaning of Christmas and how to make the most of the present by helping others. As I said at the beginning, Christmas spirit is a huge theme within the novel, and we've now explored various characters and key events so that you could write confidently in an essay about this theme. Show your knowledge and understanding of the topic, and make sure to include some key quotations. I'm Miss Meeks, thanks for watching.